A Toronto police officer has been killed in the line of duty. The flag-draped casket of Constable Mark Pinizzotto was loaded into the back of a hearse this afternoon for the drive from Sunnybrook Hospital to the office of the chief coroner.
Dozens of first responders were on hand to welcome the officer's casket at the coroner's office, including members of multiple police services who stood on guard, saluting as the body of the 43-year-old Emergency Task Force Unit officer arrived. Good evening. It's the second time this week a police officer in this province has been killed in the line of duty. This time, the tragedy taking place here in our city. The 18-year veteran of the Toronto Police Service shot and killed early this morning. We begin our coverage tonight with CTV's Beth McDonnell, who is live near Trethewey and Black Creek Drives, where the shooting occurred. Beth.
Zoraida, this is a tragic reminder of the extreme danger officers face. People who knew Constable Mark Pinizzotto are describing him as a dream recruit who had a passion for the job. He was also an accomplished hockey player who played competitively in Europe. Tonight, his family and police community are grieving his loss. 43-year-old Constable Mark Pinizzotto was a husband, father to 14-year-old twins, and a Toronto police officer for 18 years. Today, while executing a search warrant, the specially trained member of the Emergency Task Force was shot and killed.
Our teams met with Mark's family at the hospital to confirm this devastating news, and they are grieving a profound loss. Words cannot describe the pain they are feeling.
I happen to know the mom very well for 20+ years. Their grief is shared across this entire city.
The shooting happened around 5:40 in the morning at a residential tower near Black Creek Drive and Trethewey Drive. There was an exchange of gunfire. The Special Investigations Unit says Pinizzotto entered a 4th-floor unit when a suspect fired the first shot.
A man discharged his firearm at an officer, resulting in the officer being struck. A second officer returned fire, and the man was struck multiple times.
A 19-year-old suspect is in custody, sent to hospital in critical condition. Police say Pinizzotto was rushed to Sunnybrook, but despite heroic efforts, did not survive. The tower where Pinizzotto was shot is the same building where last summer 8-year-old Javai Roy was hit by a stray bullet and killed. In this case, many woke up to the sound of sirens and saw tactical officers with guns. Police have been guarding the lobby and the unit where shots were fired.
I was terrified. I was so scared because I'm looking out the window. I'm like, oh my gosh, not again.
And then when I went to drop my daughter off at the school bus, I seen all the blood and stuff in the lobby.
From Sunnybrook, Pinizzotto's body was carried in a procession to the coroner's office. The grief and sadness of this day overwhelming for his fellow officers. This police salute a show of solidarity. Described as a dream recruit, they have now lost one of their own in the line of duty. Tonight, the suspect shot by police remains in hospital. Police say Nicholas Bennett, 19, of Toronto, will be charged with first-degree murder in connection with Pinizzotto's death. Reporting live, I'm Beth McDonnell. Zoraida, back to you.
Thank you, Beth. According to police, Constable Pinizzotto was at that apartment complex this morning as part of a team executing a search warrant in connection with a police investigation into gunfire towards the U.S. consulate and several synagogues. Police are now looking for this man, 19-year-old Zara Jabi, in connection with that shooting at the consulate. He is considered armed and dangerous.
CTV's John Woodward reports U.S. authorities believe these attacks are connected to a global terror organization.
It was the American ambassador who first made the connection Thursday morning.
A Toronto policeman was killed, I believe, overnight in an investigation that may be linked to the United States.
Toronto's police chief then linking their operation on Martha Eden Way to the shooting at the U.S. consulate by the drivers of this Honda SUV in March.
Concerned a number of shootings, including a shooting at the United States consulate on University Avenue.
Within days of that attack, 3 synagogues in Toronto and Vaughan were also hit by bullets. Those attacks also came up in an investigation a world away, mentioned by someone wiretapped by U.S. authorities as he bragged about attacks in Amsterdam and Paris. According to an unsealed American criminal complaint, the man, an operative of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, said our people were behind 2 attacks in Canada against the consulate and the Knesset, which the Americans believed referred to the consulate in Toronto and the synagogues. The man, Mohammed Bakr Saad Dawood al-Sadi, was arrested in Turkey in May and brought to the U.S., charged with directing 18 terrorist attacks throughout Europe.
Islamist jihadi-inspired extremist violence, that this continues to be a global phenomenon, that there continue to be organizations that actively feed it, and that there are individuals who actively recruit people to carry out such violence.
The RCMP confirming to CTV News their national security enforcement team was at the deployment Thursday morning.
This is an attack on Canada's freedom, and these people are financed. They're not casual criminals. These guys are, again, embedded, armed criminal gangs that are being financed to bring terror to Toronto, and the police are a frontline defense.
Against attacks that may have been commissioned a world away. John Woodward, CTV News.
As we mentioned earlier, this is the second time this week a police officer in this province has been killed in the line of duty. OPP Constable Taryn Bali was killed in the line of duty in Northern Ontario after being struck by a vehicle Tuesday afternoon. Officers were trying to stop a vehicle as part of an ongoing investigation when Constable Bali was struck. In that case, an 18-year-old has since been charged with first-degree murder.
These brave officers serving, as I say, protecting our communities. We're in their debt forever. Our thoughts of the country mourn with their families, their loved ones, their fellow officers, their communities. I have been briefed on the circumstances. It's prudent to not share the details of that at this stage.
Still ahead tonight, a major disconnect. The opening of the long-awaited Gordie Howe Bridge is delayed again because of unresolved issues. We explain later in the newscast.
It was a party in Mexico City this afternoon as Shakira and other artists took the stage at the first of 3 FIFA World Cup opening ceremonies. Canada and the U.S. have their own opening event scheduled for tomorrow. The performances took place at the historic Estadio Azteca just before Team Mexico's first game.
Well, Mexico maybe with an opening here, and that is the opening goal of the World Cup.
And that opening match between Mexico and South Africa ended with a 2-0 Mexico victory. Tonight, that same stadium will host another game between South Korea and Czechia. Well, the first game here in Toronto will not take place till tomorrow, but the FanFest and the watch parties began today. Sort of.
After years of planning and preparation, it only took a few minutes for Mother Nature to change the game. CTV's Mike Walker is live outside the FanFest zone with more. Mike, not the start to the party people were expecting.
No, a lot of fans leaving early, disappointed. The afternoon, Nathan, started off with a lot of excitement, but it was within an hour of that opening match that there was the risk of lightning, prompting organizers to evacuate the FanFest here and send everyone home.
Mexico! Mexico!
Thousands of fans coming together to celebrate the beautiful game.
I'm happy. I love football.
Up to 20,000 people from across the GTHA and the globe expected to attend the Fan Festival at Fort York in the Bentway.
Went to Brazil to watch over there. And when they say that it's coming over here, I say, right on, I don't have to travel. It's going to be right on my backyard.
And for many, it's their first World Cup event, like Karen, who is from Colombia.
She's very excited because she always dreamed to be in a World Cup.
All eyes glued to the action on multiple screens as Mexico and South Africa kicked off the tournament. Omar among the large contingent of Mexican fans cheering loudly at the main stage.
It means a lot because we get to be with the Mexican community watching the game.
But that excitement quickly fizzled out. The festival evacuated due to the threat of inclement weather.
Well, we're sad because we were not able to finish the game, but it's okay. We need to leave.
The city stating out of an abundance of caution, the FIFA Fan Festival is being cancelled due to the risk of lightning. The decision was not made lightly. However, safety is our utmost priority.
Bit of a disappointment, right? But it's all about our safety.
We didn't see anything.
I mean, it's okay. It's for our own security, so it's okay.
Disappointment among fans attending the largely free event. Some out hundreds of dollars after paying for premium tickets.
When it's like a little rain and they just close it.
We miss work and then just to come here and then they cancel. It just sucks.
An event with years of planning and excitement cut short by the weather.
Now, we're still seeing a lot of fans still show up unaware of the evacuation earlier this afternoon. There was a bit of rain here, but conditions have since improved. But the city has stated that FanFest will not reopen tonight. Reporting live, I'm Mike Walker. Zoraida, back to you.
Thank you, Mike. So let's give you another live look outside this hour. Yeah, but it is still hot and humid out there. Ideal conditions for pop-up thunderstorms. Lindsay Morrison joins us now live from outside Toronto Stadium with a look at our current conditions. Yeah, it's a tough call to make, especially canceling such a a wide array of festivities. But you can't really take a chance when it comes to thunderstorms, Lindsay.
Well, as mentioned, Zoraida, safety comes first, and there was a fair amount of lightning in the west end of the GTA before that cluster of storms made its way downtown Toronto. In fact, that's where we're going to begin with a look back at the radar as it was happening mid-afternoon. So this will show you the thunderstorms that were rumbling through the west end. There they are, and this is what prompted that cancellation of the event at FanFest today. The threat of lightning was certainly there. Here's a look at our current satellite and radar. We are seeing improved conditions. The sun is out, the clouds are clearing, and it's a little more comfortable out here compared to earlier this afternoon. It's 30 degrees. It feels like 38, but it is no longer feeling quite like 40. There is a bit of a breeze. It has been a very muggy day today. The winds out of the west and of the southwest. A bit of a northwesterly flow also with those showers recently making their way through the GTA. This is your evening at a glance. Should be drier from here, but we do hold on to the threat of active weather through the overnight hours tonight with a very mild low of 20 degrees tonight. I will say things are looking good for the big game tomorrow. We are standing just outside Toronto Stadium, where I can assure you it is going to be a lot busier here this time tomorrow. So we will tee up your watch party weather coming up. But for now, Zoraida and Nathan, going to send it back inside to you.
All right. Thanks, Lindsay. The start of the World Cup is a chance for soccer fans to perhaps take the afternoon off or maybe sneak out a bit early and catch the games.
Dozens of people turned out at rendezvous downtown to take in that first match despite the rain. CTV's Jessica Smith was among them and joins us now live. Jess, what was the mood like?
It was electric here, and match 1 of 104 is officially in the books as Mexico took on South Africa in Mexico at Mexico City Stadium. But here in Toronto, the fans definitely showed up and showed out. Now, Mexico has set a bit of a record. They become the first country to host 3 World Cups, the first in 1970, the second in 1986. It was hot there. It was hot here in the city of Toronto, and the fans were soaking it all in, flocking to patios and watch parties all over the city and the GTA, including right here at rendezvous on Richmond, with hundreds of fans showing up, even with that little bit of rain. Now, there was a huge turnout of fans representing not just Mexico and South Africa, but almost every single nation. I saw a lot of Jamaica jerseys out there. Very, very exciting, and a sentiment shared by every fan I spoke to was how unifying the World Cup is. The chants for both teams filled the air, and fans even joining in together for a wave that took over the entire space here. Mexico took it, as we know, 2-0 over South Africa, and over the next 39 days, we will tune in along with the world as they show their support for the beautiful game. And fans here in Toronto are definitely ready. Let's take a listen to what they had to say.
This is part of the atmosphere. I'm grateful to be part for another World Cup, and I think to be with all these Mexican people, all these nations, is great to celebrate.
Well, I'm Mexican. I might not look like one, but I am. So, and I wanted to bring my Canadian friends to live the experience of how Mexicans live the games, and so yeah, we're having fun.
I absolutely love it. As we all know, Toronto is like a melting pot. We have different people from like all over the world. So seeing people come together and just representing their country is lovely. And I think it's an amazing thing.
It is all soccer all the time. Now we have another game, as we know, tonight at 10 p.m. South Korea and Czechia, and then the excitement of Canada tomorrow at 3 p.m. It's going to be so exciting. Reporting live, I'm Jessica Smith. Zoraida, I'll send things back to you.
Thanks, Jess. Well, behind us is a live shot of Nathan Phillips Square, where fans also gathered to watch this afternoon's game.
Despite the rain, it was also the place to be for people who just happened to be visiting this city for other reasons, but got caught up in World Cup fever. CTV's Janice Golding is live tonight in Nathan Phillips Square with more. Janice.
Hi, Nathan. Yes, we're live right now outside City Hall, where there is a lot of excitement going on. It's a little quieter than it was earlier this afternoon before the rain swept in, but there is still a lot of buzz. A Bosnian tour group made its way through Nathan Phillips Square this morning, checking out the iconic Toronto sign in front of City Hall while making exuberant predictions about tomorrow's game.
We came here to win.
You think you're going to beat the Canadians?
That's it.
What do you think your odds are tomorrow?
Well, we are winning.
There's no doubt, no hesitation in the response here.
It's worthy to be here and to win.
Yeah, but you're talking to a Canadian. You know, they're talking to a Canadian here where they keep telling that they're going to kill us, right?
Of course.
We're confident.
A little friendly rivalry well before Toronto plays host to its first World Cup game tomorrow afternoon.
It's funny, that group behind us here, they're all from Bosnia, and they said that they're going to take it tomorrow, hands down. What do you say to them?
Oh, no, you know what? We got a game on our hands for sure. I'm just going to say 2-1 for the boys, you know. They're not going to disappoint us at home, so they got to do it.
No chance. No chance. No chance. This is our house.
Most Canadians clear on who they'll be rooting for, although this man who moved from Bosnia to Regina several years ago, not so sure.
What is this?
Well, probably tomorrow I'll maybe take both flags.
Nathan Phillips Square is an official FIFA World Cup celebration zone, which is why fans flock to the site to check out some of the activities going on, bedecked in all the colors of the world.
Huge. I'm a season ticket holder at one club.
Toronto showcasing what we're famous for, our multiculturalism.
I hope my team from my country win. It's Brazil.
My girlfriend is Mexican, so that's why I'm supporting Mexico today.
The Square is also broadcasting matches throughout the tournament, like today's game between Mexico and South Africa.
Very excited. Mexico's going to win, absolutely.
We've met a lot of Mexicans here, so it seems like we're all celebrating today here too.
They kick off to the World Cup's first match, drawing decent crowds despite the heat and the rain this afternoon. So some very happy fans here after Mexico's win. And there's going to be a lot more soccer action here tonight on the big screen behind us, with South Korea facing off against Czechia at 10 p.m. Reporting live, I'm Janice Golding. Now back to Zoraida.
Thank you, Janice. Well, as the World Cup kicks off, the province has added 2 major ticket resale sites to its consumer watch list. SeatGeek and StubHub are now on the so-called consumer beware list. Back in March, the province said it would crack down on ticket resellers offering tickets for more than their original value. Last week, the financial penalty for repeat offenders rose to $25,000, with higher potential court-ordered fines. Both companies say the province has failed to provide enough clarity around how to comply with the new law. The Ministry of Public and Business Service Delivery says it's been working with the companies to help them do that.
Also today, the Ford government shared an update on one of the most controversial parts of its plan to redevelop Ontario Place. Ontario taxpayers are set to spend $198 million on a new 5-story parking garage built by Canadian company Pomerleau Inc. The Auditor General found the province is obligated to provide parking in its deal with European company Therma, which is building a spa and water park at the reimagined destination. Tourism Minister Stan Cho said the garage will cost less than other potential designs and predicted it'll quickly generate tens of millions of dollars in annual revenue.
Looking north of the city, police have released only limited details about an ongoing homicide investigation in Aurora. So far, we know that officers were called to a home near Wellington Street East and Walton Drive at about 2:45 yesterday afternoon. They say they found a man suffering from significant trauma injuries. 6 people were taken into custody. Police have not shared any other insights on the victim, how he was allegedly killed, or potential pending charges. They do say the incident appears to have been isolated. The search for answers continues.
And staying in York Region, 2 18-year-old suspects are facing charges after a pride flag was burned at a Markham school. It's alleged the pair ripped the flag down from its holder at an unnamed school near Yonge and Clark Avenue. This was late Monday night. Now, they're accused of trying to set it on fire. Sepper Abidar and Mahan Mohammed Radmard, both of Markham, face charges of mischief under $5,000. Police say the suspects are former students of the school. Investigators believe the incident was hate-motivated.
In Toronto today, the Prime Minister announced a national food security strategy. It's intended to give Canadians more access to locally produced fruit, vegetables, and other fresh items at lower prices.
The core is to move from reliance to resilience, because a country that can't feed itself or fuel itself or defend itself isn't truly sovereign. It's vulnerable to global shocks. It's vulnerable to supply chain disruptions. It's vulnerable to tariffs. So, to protect our sovereignty and truly take control of our future, we have to take control of our food system.
The plan is designed to change the way food is bought, sold, transported, and distributed, and that should better support farmers, small independent players, and consumers. The PM says the strategy is backed by more than $3 billion in investments over 10 years.
The owners of the popular AI chatbot Grok and the social media platform X have violated Canadian laws.
The investigation has found that X Corp and XAI violated Canada's federal private sector privacy law by launching the Grok AI-powered image generation tool without implementing appropriate safeguards from the outset. This lack of protection allowed users to create and share sexualized deepfakes, largely targeting women and children.
Researchers say Grok was at one point generating well over 6,000 sexualized images per hour. The Privacy Commissioner indicates some measures have been taken by the company behind the chatbot, but it remains in non-compliance. Both XAI and X Corp are owned by SpaceX.
A ribbon-cutting ceremony for the new bridge connecting Windsor and Detroit was supposed to happen tomorrow, and then it was reportedly opening to traffic on Monday.
But we learned today the opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge has been delayed. Officials now say they're working toward an opening date for the vital economic link. The Bridge Authority issued a statement reading in part, Canada and the United States have agreed to delay the opening of the bridge, taking the necessary time to resolve any outstanding issues. We appreciate the efforts of workers on both sides of the border to get the bridge to its current state of readiness. No timeline was provided, nor any detail about what those outstanding issues are. But the mayor of Windsor thinks he has a pretty good idea.
The fingerprints of Donald Trump are all over this, based on his comments after things had moved forward and the ribbon cutting was set and everyone was notified and invited. The president wasn't happy with that. His fingerprints are on it and everything has been unwound again. I just think it's preposterous that we're at this point in time. I'm hopeful the bridge will open soon, but I certainly don't want Prime Minister Carney to make a bad deal and go to the president on bent knee to get this bridge open.
The opening of the $6.4 billion bridge was put into question this week when we learned Trump had not changed his position that the U.S. would need to be compensated before he would allow the bridge to open. American officials have not said yet if the Trump administration intervened in tomorrow's planned event. Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canada agreed to a U.S. request to delay the opening. A high-profile Canada-U.S. business summit was held in Toronto today, focusing on the North American free trade deal.
Donald Trump has suggested he's not interested in negotiating a new agreement, but his ambassador is hinting at ways Canada can make it work. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
America has a tremendous amount of things where we have a need.
America's man in Ottawa gives context to these comments from Donald Trump on the Free Trade Pact up for review.
I'm not looking to renew it. We don't need anything that Canada has.
Pete Hoekstra says there are things America needs, potash and oil, for example.
Go into these negotiations very aggressively.
And it's Canada's job to sell itself as the best place to buy.
I think every time we've met with the Canadian government, the president has always kind of closed the meetings off or consistently said through the meetings, make us an offer.
Hoekstra also referenced a positive shift in rhetoric from Doug Ford on his trip to D.C. this week, Pierre Poilievre, and this from the Prime Minister.
Canada Strong will help make America great again.
What I'm encouraged by is, what we do see as a pivot.
As an investor, as someone who's spent most of his career allocating capital, uncertainty sucks.
Canada's rarely heard from ambassador said America first doesn't mean America alone.
I think we need to continually remind Americans of the importance of Canada to the United States. We're not good at that always.
I'm optimistic.
While the minister responsible remains hopeful about a 16-year deal extension.
I try and demystify this July 1st deadline.
Right.
It's not a cliff that everybody goes hurtling off.
LeBlanc said he spoke with U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick this week and will see Trade Representative Jameson Greer at the G7 next week. He described conversations as constructive with a need to move forward. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
To the latest now on the wars in the Middle East, and the U.S. president has called off plans for a heavy strike on Iran tonight. Donald Trump posting this on Truth Social, saying, based on the fact that discussions with the Islamic Republic of Iran have been brought to the highest level of Iranian leadership and approved, I have, as President of the United States of America, canceled the scheduled strikes and bombings against Iran this evening. He goes on to say the naval blockade will remain in effect until this transaction is finalized, with the time and place of the signing to be announced shortly. But Iran's semi-official news agency says Tehran has not approved any text for an initial memorandum of understanding with the U.S.
Pope Leo arrived in the Canary Islands today on the first ever papal visit there. The pontiff arrived for a stadium mass that was expected to be attended by more than 50,000 people. He's spending the final 2 days of his week-long trip to Spain in islands located off the coast of Africa. They are a key point of entry for migrants from West Africa. The Pope issued an impassioned plea to recognize the dignity of migrants. He is fulfilling a wish of Pope Francis to visit the islands to commemorate the thousands of lives lost at sea.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, a lot of people will be traveling for the World Cup. If you're someone who crosses the U.S. border often, you can benefit from having a Nexus card. But if you apply for one, make sure you don't pay fees that you don't have to. I'll have that story. That's just ahead.
Just one more sleep until Team Canada plays its first World Cup game on home soil. We are outside Toronto Stadium, and whether you're coming down here or watching from home, I know you're curious what the weather's looking like for tomorrow. This is your watch party forecast. The afternoon is going to be dry, sunny, still warm, but not as hot and humid as today. And there's a look at some more active weather that looks to creep its way into our weekend weather forecast. We'll talk all about that after the break here on CTV News. Stay with us.
About 2 million Canadians have a Nexus card, which makes it faster and easier to cross back and forth into the United States.
You have to apply for a Nexus card, but if you do, you need to be careful how and where you get one. Here's Pat Foran and Consumer Alert. Pat.
Thanks, Nathan and Zoraida. When you search online to apply for a Nexus card, you may find third-party companies that say they can help you with the application process, but they're also charging hundreds of dollars extra that you don't need to pay. If you're a frequent traveler to the U.S., a Nexus card can help you bypass long lineups at the airport and crossing the border. Pauline Saunders of Angus decided she wanted to get a Nexus card to save time while traveling. She went online to start the process.
I knew I wanted this pass, and then I saw an advertisement on Google, so I hit it.
A company said it could help her apply for a Nexus card, and she agreed to pay their fee of almost $600 US. But months later, she had still not received a Nexus card, and she was told an additional payment of $120 US was required.
I didn't want to pay another $120 because what else are they going to take from me?
Saunders used the services of a third-party company called Nexus Pass Online, Inc. A spokesperson told CTV News, Nexus Pass Online is a private application assistance service. Our value is saving time, reducing mistakes, so the process is clear and stress-free. This fee covers document review and readiness for submission. It does not include the government's filing fee. The company said it needed Saunders to pay the additional $120 US to finish the application, which she declined.
It's just not okay. I'm so angry and upset about it.
The Canada Border Services Agency says using a third party will not speed up the process and could even cause delays or denials in getting a Nexus card. A spokesperson said you do not need a third party to complete your Nexus application. The fee for a 5-year Nexus membership is $120 US. You can go directly to the Government of Canada's website to apply, renew, or replace a Nexus card. Saunders says she's frustrated after paying more than $800 Canadian that she'll have to start the process all over again. And if you're applying for a Nexus card, a passport, or a pardon, there are companies that pop up in Google searches or on social media that claim they can help. They may not be illegal, just know you could end up paying hundreds of dollars extra. You don't need to. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
All right, looking at the forecast, it was a little bit muggy, and then for those that were hoping to enjoy themselves at those parties, things kind of changed, right?
It is a hard call to make to have to cancel, festivities, right, Linz? But we always knew there was going to be the threat of thunderstorm activity, and it is so hot and muggy out there today.
It has been one of those weeks, Zoraida and Nathan. We've had the threat of thunderstorms since about Tuesday, and they have been very on and off. And of course, FanFest is an outdoor event with so many people. I know so many were disappointed, but of course, safety does come first. Thunderstorms, weak ones anyway, have been part of our weather story today. The other big story, oh my goodness, the humidity. It has been feeling like 40 for a good portion of the day today. So let's begin there. We'll take a look at our current temperatures and Humidex values. It still feels like 38, but dare I say, as someone who has been outside all day long, 38 actually feels refreshing compared to earlier this afternoon. Tonight, this is uncomfortable for sleeping weather territory. 20 degrees for a low, still humid, feeling like 25. And we're going to hold on to the chance of a shower through the overnight hours. We'll show you that in detail in just a moment. But let's talk about tomorrow. It is a big day here in our city, here in our country. All eyes from the world on Toronto. And we are forecasting a daytime high of 29 degrees. Factor in that humidity, it'll feel like 32. Might be slightly cooler for communities outside of the GTA. And it is worth pointing out that we will have a front swinging through midday. That's what could bring us a quick shower early in the day, but it should also help cool us down a little bit, settle down some of that humidity that we've been dealing with the last couple of days for sure. There's a look at the active weather. It has moved stateside or out over Lake Ontario. As we progress through the rest of these evening hours, we do expect it to be dry in most areas. However, overnight, see those storms that continue to fire off in the U.S. They certainly have been weakening as they make their way toward us here in the lower Great Lakes, but we have to hold on to the possibility of some wet or stormy weather through the night tonight. So, for example, especially southwest Ontario, there's a risk for you. There's tomorrow morning around, say, 8:30 a.m. You can see some spotty showers, some cloud cover, maybe some fog as well. That burns off for the afternoon. 3 p.m. looks excellent. And then Saturday, it's going to be an unsettled weekend for parts of cottage country. We should be sunny and dry for Saturday, not so much the case on Sunday. It looks like we will get at least some rain, looking like the morning Sunday and possibly creeping into the afternoon. Your next 3 days for the RBC Canadian Open. Of course, there are 2 big sporting events happening in the GTA this weekend. Here's a look at what you can expect if you're going to head out to the links to cheer on your favorite active weather, and notice how the temperature cools starting Sunday and right through next week. Overall, it is going to be a little more comfortable for spending time outside, and we are looking fairly dry next week with next best chance of wet weather returning by about Thursday. We are live outside Toronto Stadium. The countdown is on, mere hours until Team Canada is going to be playing right here. This place is going to be absolutely packed. We're going to continue to help you prepare. More with your weather forecast coming up later, but I'll send it back inside to you, Nathan and Zoraida.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Also tonight, a beautiful story connected to the beautiful game. Team Canada star Richie Larea gets to know a 6-year-old fan who overcame a double lung transplant. The heartwarming story next. There is plenty of excitement for the World Cup inside the halls of the hospital for sick children.
As health reporter Pauline Chan tells us, a recent visit by a Toronto soccer star made a world of difference for one young patient.
Toronto FC's Richie Larea may be tough on the pitch, but with the kids, he's all fun and games. 6-year-old Elias has soccer in his bloodline, from his dad, a former pro, back to his grandmother. But a congenital heart condition known as TAP-VD meant the little boy has had numerous surgeries since birth.
So it's one of the pulmonaries that the blood flow doesn't go fully to the heart, so it doesn't pump well.
Last January, he had a double lung transplant. But a few months later, he was out on the pitch with Larea and a group of young sick kids' patients.
It was truly special just to see after transplant, because he did have restrictions, and just to see him just kind of being normal and being with kids and running and just being outdoors was really, really special and emotional for us parents.
Our patients really enjoyed meeting him at the hospital. He's always been just an amazing supporter, so it just felt like a natural fit to do something with him.
Larea has been a longtime supporter of sick kids, and the hospital has been working to bring World Cup festivities into the atmosphere there, like with viewing parties.
Sick Kids isn't just located in Toronto, but it's part of the city's fabric. And so when significant moments happen here, the connection between the hospital and the community is really easy to see.
Each child contributed to the design of a hero ball, a thank you gift for Larea. And Elias has more soccer to look forward to in the near future, with free tickets to a Toronto FC game in the fall. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
As summer festival season heats up, the Taste of the Danforth is officially making its return to Toronto's cultural calendar. The event is one of the biggest and most popular street festivals across the country, taking over Greektown during the second weekend in August. But it hasn't taken place since 2023, organizers citing funding constraints. Back in February, the Premier had said he would work with the Mayor to bring Taste of the Danforth back. Today, officials confirm new money is flowing.
It's been 30 years for Taste of the Danforth, one of the very, very first festivals in the city of Toronto. Hundreds of thousands of Torontonians of 416, 905, and 705 come here to the Danforth for food, music, and a kind of joy that you'll only find in Toronto and on the Danforth.
We know that the small businesses here suffered having that gone, but we also know that tourists and people of the city suffered. I mean, it's a big economic driver. Tourism spending around the Taste of the Danforth generated $91 million in 2023, and we expect it to break all of those records this year. And that's why, Councillor Fletcher, we appreciate your announcement of support from the City of Toronto of $200,000 for Taste of the Danforth 2026. The province will be matching that investment with $200,000 for this year's Taste of the Danforth.
Taste of the Danforth returns August 7th to the 9th. After the break, he is Canada's all-time leading scorer, expected to deliver in the big moments. We chat with soccer superstar Jonathan David next. SpaceX shares start trading tomorrow. Today, we now know what the initial price will be. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has more.
This is one of the most talked about initial public offerings of the year. Shares will start at $135 US tomorrow. More than 555 million shares are being sold, only about 4% of the company. SpaceX is known for its rockets, but it also has an AI division and Starlink, its satellite business, which is the only part of SpaceX that makes money. Elon Musk is already the world's richest man. Tomorrow, he could become the world's first trillionaire. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar down a fraction to 71.63. West Texas Intermediate is down to 87.71. Western Canadian Select is up to 75.82. And the TSX shot up 520 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
The parent company of Air Transat is reporting a $79 million loss in its latest quarter. Transat linked the losses to rising fuel prices and the suspension of flights to Cuba as that country struggles under the U.S. energy blockade. The $79 million loss compares to an approximately $23 million loss for the same period last year. Transat Chief Executive Annick Girard says the results were disappointing as factors largely beyond the company's control severely impacted profitability.
Meanwhile, discount retailer Dollarama reported a first quarter profit of more than $302 million for its quarter ending May 3rd. That's up from around $274 million in the same stretch of 2025. The company linking the growth to the opening of more store locations across Canada, higher sales at existing locations, and its recent entry into the Australian market.
The Toronto Scepters have locked up one of their original members for another 3 years. Callie Flanagan has played in every Scepters game since the league began in 2024. The 30-year-old defender from Burlington, Massachusetts, also helped the U.S. win gold at the 2018 Olympics. Today's move makes Flanagan one of Toronto's 3 protected players for Phase 3 of the PWHL expansion process.
The wait is almost over for Canada's first ever men's World Cup match on home soil, and the country will be looking to Jonathan David to deliver.
He is Canada's all-time leading goal scorer, but is also part Haitian. CTV's chief anchor and senior editor Omar Sachedina sat down with David to talk about why he chose the Maple Leaf.
David steps up and finishes coolly. Coolness personified from Jonathan David.
Known as the Iceman for being so cool in big moments, Jonathan David is one of the most recognizable faces on Team Canada.
That is perfection.
And could be playing for a number of countries. But there's no question which one is at the top of his list.
You have one of the most diverse backgrounds on this team, right? You were born in the U.S., you moved to Haiti when you were a baby, and then you moved to Canada, but you're also eligible to play for France. So why Canada?
I think this is the country I feel the most attached to. You know, this is where I spent the most of my life. So for me, it was really a no-brainer, you know. I wanted to build something special with this country, you know, to build our own history.
Currently with Italian giant Juventus, he was born in Brooklyn, moved to Haiti, and then to Ottawa at the age of 6, where he learned to embrace his new home, but never forgetting his roots, and holding on to both on the pitch and off.
And my personality is Haitian, you know, the way I act is Haitian, so it's normal that I keep this connection over there. I think it's a part of me that could never go away. So of course, we all know the situation is hard over there, but the people will always keep faith because, you know, they believe in God and they believe that today will be tomorrow will be a better day than today, so.
That faith has also got him through devastating personal adversity. His mom, Rose, died of cancer.
You lost her so young.
I did, yeah, 19, but now I'm 26, you know, I think back and I say, I'm lucky to even to have had her for 19 years because I know some people don't grow up with dads or mom or loses them even earlier than me, so I'm grateful for the time I had with her.
In an emotional moment, he held the flower bearing her name on the field in tribute.
What kind of impact did she have on your life and on you as a soccer player?
Wow, on my life, everything, you know. I grew up with my mom. For me, she was like my best friend. Told her everything. We spent a lot of time together. So yeah, about football, for her it was always school first, you know. So if I didn't do my homework, I didn't do what I had to do, you're not going to practice, you know.
The focus clearly paid off. He set his sights on playing in Europe, winning the Golden Boot for the Belgian club Ghent. That led to a record-setting transfer to the French club Lille in 2020, where he won the title in his first season and became a goal-scoring machine. Always returning to play for Canada, where he became its all-time leading goal scorer.
He cannot stop scoring goals!
A streak he hopes to build on in his second straight World Cup in a matter of days.
To welcome, you know, the biggest sporting event in the world in our country, you know, playing in front of our friends and family, I think it's a moment that can't be replicated.
Omar Sachedina, CTV News, Toronto.
Believe it or not, it's already been 2 months since the crew of NASA's Artemis II splashed down back on Earth.
The Ontario Science Centre hosting a discussion with the sole Canadian astronaut on that lunar flight, Jeremy Hansen. Canadians and space enthusiasts around the world got to know Hansen as he carried out the mission alongside 3 U.S. astronauts. The 50-year-old London native made history as the first Canadian to travel around the moon. The Artemis crew also traveling farthest from the Earth, breaking Apollo 13's distance record.
A little bit of disbelief to see it in the three-dimensionality of it all. Of course, we've all seen the images, and they're beautiful, and they capture it. But when you're out there in deep space and you're looking back at this planet, there's a three-dimensionality to it that I can't describe other than to say, like, I could see that there were stars in the galaxy that were closer and further, and I was just among them. And that was an incredible perspective. And the tininess of the Earth. It made me feel very small as a human, an individual, insignificant, but very powerful to be able to witness that as a human race, a human species.
Tickets to tonight's event at the Elgin Theatre were snapped up quickly. Let's check in with Lindsay for one last look at the forecast. Lindsay.
Nathan, Zoraida, the sun is shining out here. It is a nice evening. It is still warm. We'll take one more look at the satellite and radar to show you that the active weather, for the most part, has moved out of the GTA, which is great news if you're hoping to venture back outside. Now, tomorrow morning, this is where we have our best chance of seeing some clouds, some fog, and maybe a passing shower. But a reminder that by tomorrow afternoon, we expect sunshine. It's still going to be hot and humid, but not as oppressively so as it was today. Great news for that World Cup game we're all looking forward to. It's going to be happening right here at Toronto Stadium. That's your look at the 7-day forecast. We have so much great coverage coming for you over the next couple of weeks here on CTV News. Go Canada, indeed. Nathan and Zoraida, I'm going to send it back inside to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. And be sure to join Omar Sachedina tonight at 11 for CTV National News. And I'll have your next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here at CTV News, thanks for watching. Have a good night. We'll see you at 11:30.